Hello everyone and welcome back to Billion's News Gaming Roundup. I'm Billion. Sorry this is kinda late. I was too focused on the Resident Evil highlights video that I made for the channel. But here we go with the news for the week March 20th to the 24th. Starting with some news about Sonic Frontiers DLC 1 dropping. It came out last week. This DLC comes with a jukebox feature which allows players to find music notes in the world that unlock songs which can then be played in the open zones. It also came with a photo mode, challenge modes such as a boss rush and a stage rush, and various quality of life improvements such as being able to use a lot of the Cocos with the Elder Coco rather than just one at a time. Very excited to see when DLC number 2 drops, and remember, all of these DLCs are gonna be free. Now let's go to Sonic Origins Plus, which was just announced. This is gonna be a $10 expansion to the base game Sonic Origins, or a $40 package deal which is both the expansion and the game. This expansion adds Knuckles into Sonic CD, Amy as a playable character for the first time in a classic style game of my knowing, and 12 Game Gear titles that you'll be able to play. These titles include Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, Sonic Blast, Sonic Chaos, Sonic Drift, Sonic Drift 2, Sonic Labyrinth, Sonic Spinball, Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sonic the Hedgehog Triple Trouble, Tails Adventure, and Tails Sky Patrol. It's exciting that we all have a legal way to play these games now, because they haven't been released in a while. Let's follow the news of good developers with news of bad developers. Redfall developers are looking into removing always online requirement for single player, which should not be there in the first place. The developers gave a pretty shitty excuse to why it's there is there at all. They said that the online requirement is there to improve the game by gathering player data and tweaking the game accordingly to the player behavior. Not a good excuse. I really hope they remove it as soon as possible, although I don't think so, because they said that it's not really a promise, because there's only things that are taking priority right now. Let's go to some good news before going back into bad news, with Resident Evil 4 Remake being a success. It's been critically acclaimed and it's been doing pretty well. It beat the previous record held by Resident Evil Village of all-time player peak in the franchise, so this is exciting news for Resident Evil fans. Now back to some bad news. The Rust developers were threatened online, so they had to cancel a meetup they were planning at GDC. This is pretty disgusting and it's awful that it's happening at all. Be better, gaming community. Counter-Strike 2 was revealed for this summer. That's all I have for it, because I'm not a big Counter-Strike 2 fan, so I'm gonna be not a big help in all of the technical mumbo jumbo of what's coming to the game. Let's go now into being mad at EA now, because they are delisting some old Battlefield games, including Battlefield 1943, Battlefield Bad Company, and Battlefield Bad Company 2. This is awful because you're not gonna be able to buy these games anymore, and the servers are gonna be shutting down. So you're gonna have to be making your own servers if you wanna keep playing. Awful behavior by EA and the conservation of games in general. Let's end this now with news that the Microsoft acquisition of Activision is very likely to come true. The CMA, which is UK regulators that are fighting against Microsoft in this, have received some new evidence which apparently shows that the Activision deal will not result in a lessening of competition, because according to them, taking away COD from PlayStation will be more damaging to Microsoft than keeping it there, which is what a lot of people that are paying attention have been saying. The investigation is now going to be more focused on the cloud-based aspect of the deal, but Microsoft has already stepped into making deals to ensure that that's not a problem, so this is very likely to go through. Apart from all of this, Microsoft stated that EA is PlayStation's biggest third-party publisher, not Activision, as PlayStation said. They actually showed the rankings, with EA being number 1, Ubisoft number 2, Take-Two number 3, and Sony themselves being ahead of Activision, so yeah, this is very likely going to pass. That's gonna be all for the news this week. Sorry that it's not very good. As I said, I was focusing on the Resident Evil video, but next week is all back to normal. I'll see you there and have a good time. Bye.